while we're talking. Oh, and we're live. Hey!
Yeah, look at that. Live and disorganized.
And so, for those that are blaming Jason, it is not Jason's fault. You can blame Danny's poop. That should be a hashtag now. Because Danny just texted me saying that he is busy pooping. And I'm sure you all really wanted to know that.
Yeah, top of the priority list.
Yes.
You know,
Speaking of poop, how are you doing?
Well, you know, it was a day today, but the day is over, so that's good. The trials and tribulations of foolish decisions and projects that were started too late.
Ooh, did you just accidentally hint at the name of a certain short track?
Accidentally, yes, for sure, accidentally. It was definitely not on purpose.
Well, just saying. Kind of funny that you should mention trials and tribulations when we're about to talk about good old Discovery and short treks and stuff. Let's see. Why? Oh, there we go. I was like, why can't I see it? Because I didn't have the little eyeball clicked. And where is the audio program? Yeah, we'll get past the little intro. Let's see. There we go. Good old Code Brown.
Yeah.
And, oh, actually, I'm doing this all wrong. I did it. So, well, that's okay. So we got a minute to, while we're waiting on Danny. So I can't see the chat while I'm getting this set up.
Oh, look at this. Yes, sir. We have a super chat.
Already?
Already.
Awesome.
Planet X. Hello, friends. Thank you.
And welcome, Planet X. Okay.
Patrick. Danny is just releasing his love for this poop-tastic series.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We have Code Brown Productions while Danny is in a deep Code Brown right now. I'm just saying. That's a. So, for those of you that weren't here yesterday, first of all, shame on you for not being here yesterday. But you may be happy to know that next week we are taking a brief 1 week break off of Star Trek Discovery because Jason and Danny are just hurting a lot.
Yeah, I need a break already, and we're only 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
On just one season. I had to cleanse my mind by watching a couple episodes of The Expanse last night before I went to bed. A superior show.
Oh, whatever. You how much of a check do you get from those guys?
I wish. Man, I wish. If only.
If only. I mean, that's all you ever talk about.
Yeah, well, you know, when you're that good, you get talked about a lot.
Well, they're good, but, I mean, you know, come on now. If I were Danny, I'd be giving graphic depictions of sexual acts. You love them so much.
Well, I don't know that I would necessarily go that far, but it's definitely high on my list of things that I can just infinitely rewatch. So
Infinitely.
Yes. Let's just keep in mind, I've seen the first season for sure no less than 6 whole times because I rewatched the entire series in preparation for each season as the seasons came out. And I know for sure at this point I've watched the first season at least another 10 more times beyond. So I would say I probably have the entire series watched through 2 times for sure, possibly 3, because I haven't watched season 6 that many times, obviously, because it's by far the newest. So
Right.
but yeah, I have a hard time not watching that show because it's just that good.
Well, it is a very good show. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that it's a bad show.
Well, I mean, before it was around to watch over and over repeatedly, or at least watch a significant number of the favoritist shows, I definitely watched the ever-living crap out of Stargate many times, which is quite a feat considering how much Stargate there is.
Right.
So
there is the proverbial ton of Stargate.
oh boy, is there ever.
Alright, so we got that there, but it needs to go lower. It needs to go to the very bottom of the stack, I believe.
No, Stan, I am not scared of trying something new. I definitely have new stuff under the belt, but
No, he doesn't. He's scared.
I am not scared.
You're a scaredy cat.
No. I live where there's mooses.
Exactly.
We're not allowed to be scared of cats.
Stanley saying something about best villains from Discovery. Not sure. Talking the Turtles, maybe? And Ariel wants to know if one of your 8 houses caught on fire.
No, we're stuck waiting for Danny.
Yeah.
There were no emergencies in Canadistan.
Okay, so Ariel points out you've just been spoiled because of all the great tentacle action in the animated series.
Well, this is not untrue. There is definitely a lot of tentacle action.
So you're saying you like the tentacle action?
Well, I would prefer the tentacle action significantly more than the Burnham action. Because you see, burn requires salve. So.
Wow, I didn't. So now they're accusing you of being a slumlord.
Oh, excellent.
So that's always good. So
well, I mean, that's the running joke. I mean, to say I wish I was would only refer specifically to the. It would be nice because I would have loads and loads of money.
So there you go. He is confirming that he is in fact a slumlord because he likes loads and loads of money.
I like money.
So you heard it here first. Jason is confirmed slumlord.
Oh boy.
Hey, you're the one that said it. Don't be blaming me for what you did.
Okay.
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 And let's see. So we put this here. And then we go here. Hopefully we did that right. Okay. Alright. So everything is queued up now, just waiting on Danny to show up. Much. The latest dance craze, the Burnham.
Flip.
Of course, it's better with sound.
Yes.
So we'll have to fix that while we're waiting for Danny. Here we go.
Slurp, big slurp, big slurp. Oh, there's dirt falling off of her in the back. Look! And it's in the right spot. Oh, no!
Wow.
Oh, no!
Yeah, look at that chunk right there. Oh, yeah, that's perfect timing. Look at
Someone, this right here, this is why the editing crew needs to edit this stuff on a wall screen.
Yes.
Because, Sonequa Martin Green, someone's probably pointed this out to her by now, and she's probably not impressed.
Well, I mean, it doesn't beat the backwards phaser from season 1. So I love the backwards phaser.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I mean, because this, you can argue she did just pull herself out of the dirt, and we added all the fart sound effects.
Sure, but I don't know.
But I just love that chunk, and then
it's like the plug got out of the way, and then it was like unleash the devil.
Hey, there he is.
Hey.
Hey, man.
We were just talking about your adventures on the toilet.
Awesome. That's better than my adventures from this morning. So.
Yeah, that's not a happy story. Although if you watch, I've made a new visual discovery with the Burnham sound video. You may actually enjoy this for a bit of a laugh. The dirt falls off her back, and it looks like she's pooping through her suit.
Yeah. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
And at times with the sound effects, perfect.
Ew. Ew. What is it with you and your poop and fart jokes?
No, but he didn't even know. I about killed him. He about fell out of his chair.
Yes.
When I pointed out what was going on. Star
Trek Discovery, so crappy that even unintentionally, it's crappy. So, we'll jump right into it because we have one full length and one short track to get through. And so I figure we ease our way into it by doing the short track first. So this is The Trouble with Edward, for those of you that haven't seen it. It is a prequel of sorts to The Trouble with Tribbles.
It's definitely a prequel.
Well, the reason I say is, I don't know what the star date is for Trouble with Tribbles, but this is one of those, unfortunately, and this is a problem with Discovery in particular, but all of the Kurtzman era of Trek, is that, remember my well-researched and beautiful Stardate videos, that all gets thrown out the window when it comes to Kurtzman Trek. Because here, so the Stardate is 1421.9, but that would mean that Pike and Kirk were captains at the same time.
Ouch.
So, and yes, Stan, H. John Benjamin is who you're thinking of as far as the voice of Archer and Bob from Bob's Burgers, and I do think he's fun. And so the trouble with Michael. should be the name of this episode. That's not a bad name. Except that Michael's actually not in this episode, which gives it an automatic +1 bonus for my score.
Yeah.
All right. So, so we find out that on the Enterprise, Pike it has a crew member who is about to become the captain of a research vessel, which you can see right there. And by the way, yes, I know this is not quite the refinements of the Enterprise that we got from Strange New Worlds, but still a beautiful ship. And this is one of the very rare shots you will ever see of the Enterprise from Strange New Worlds with what is clearly a Discovery era ship. Because most of the time they try to separate Strange New Worlds from Discovery.
Yes.
Gee, I wonder why that is. Sorry, getting my mouse pad over here so that I can use my mouse without straining. There we go. All right. And thanks, Ariel. That's really nice of you.
I don't know which part, but Ariel.
This gem if you knew here.
Yeah. We need more lower decks, says Planet X. Well, yeah, but we don't have more lower decks. We have to wait. So, unfortunately, the last season of Lower Decks just ended.
Yeah.
So, we cut to the interior of the Enterprise, and what at the time was just the lower decks, or not the lower decks, the Discovery corridor sets redressed with the red paint so that it would look more like Star Trek, I guess. But you can tell it's Discovery era because of their stupid uniforms. Those collars are so dumb. I mean, they look dumb enough on the Discovery blue uniforms, but they look extra dumb when they're wearing the gold shirts because the collar really stands out as this asymmetrical, whatever that's supposed to be.
I'm honestly not sure what they were thinking.
Well, I think they were thinking, ooh, in the future, we'll have fancy new collars unlike anything we have today. And you know what we don't have today? Stupid wraparound asymmetrical collars. And probably because they're stupid.
Yeah.
And John says Alita looks weird without her digital giant eyes.
Well, a little bit.
And Ariel's giving Danny a big, long hug. Be careful. I mean, Danny did just finish a massive turd, so you may not want to get too close to him right now.
If you guys only knew.
And no, we don't. You could go to ratemypoop.com right now, and Danny, I think, uploaded a picture of his turd. All right, so... So Pike is talking to the young new captain about her new duties as a captain. Now, sadly, of course, this is the only scene Pike is in. So that's the bad part. And when there was something he said though that I liked. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, right here. She refers to Pike as salty. That's right. That's right.
He's the salty old man.
So Pike and I are the salty ones. I'll take it. So any thoughts on this first scene where we get to see Pike sending off his young protege?
Well, you were talking yesterday about how the Tim guy, they always cast people who look better. They definitely did that with you and Pike in this case.
Wow, you know, all right,
What?
I'm putting that in your permanent file. Um, so they beam her off the Enterprise, and she goes to her ship while the Enterprise warps away. And sadly, that is the last we will see of the Enterprise and Pike.
And we get left with the pancake ship.
Yes. So we start out with her having a meeting with various department heads on her ship, and they're all reporting as far as now her mission here is to deal with a hunger problem on this one planet. There's a colony on the planet below them, but they're basically having trouble with their crops not coming in, and they're all dying. And so, what are they going to do? And I guess it's an environmental issue. So this one guy is saying, "Oh, we're going to try to get the pH levels up to 6.0 within a decade," which is great, but you know that's still a decade away. I mean, you know. And then she asks Edward Larkin what he's up to. And look at that look on his face. He's just like, "Oh, am I supposed to be here?" And Edward tells her, "I don't really have an apartment. I'm just kind of here." And then he talks about tribbles, and he says,
And
you
how
know,
tasty they are.
yeah, he says, you know, the best thing about tribbles. There you go. Yeah, there's a little diagram of them. The best thing about tribbles is that you shave off the hair and it's all meat.
The wonderful thing about tribbles is tribbles are tasteful things.
Yes.
They said they're like scallops.
Yes.
But instead of the wonderful thing about Tiggers are wonderful things.
Yes. The downside with tribbles is that they breed rather slowly, so it would take a long time to get the people enough tribbles to eat.
But wait, that's not what they told us in Trouble with Tribbles.
Yes, because we find out that Edward is experimenting with the genetics of the tribble to try to speed up their reproductive systems. So the main ethical concern, look, everybody thinks the tribbles are cute. The main ethical concern, though, is are tribbles intelligent? To which he says, well, one fell off of his desk and died, so they'd be pretty easy to hunt. And if they wanted, he could genetically engineer them to all be born with brain damage, so we wouldn't have to worry about their intelligence.
I did love the completely dry, just the constant barrage of, well, you know.
From H. John Benjamin. Yeah, everything,
Yeah.
every word he says is gold.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you guys haven't seen this out there in the chat world, do yourself a favor and watch it, because it's painfully funny.
Yeah. It is actually from the pre-Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks time. This is the best that New Trek was at this point. Was this short? Yeah, you know, he's talking about how he's eaten a couple, and then he fed one to Noel here, and that he enjoyed it. And I get the feeling that Noel didn't realize he had eaten a tribble.
Yeah.
But Noel is a foodie. And so he's talking about how, you know, we should feed them the tribbles. And this is where, okay, you can kind of tell that the captain of this ship is definitely from the Discovery era, because she starts saying some of the dumbest, most nonsensical things. Like, remember, Edward is an expert biologist and geneticist. And so he's studying the tribbles. He's trying to see how they would adapt to the environment of the planet. He's thinking about genetically modifying them to be more suitable as a meat source. all good biology-based work. And what does she say? Oh, well, we're not going to pursue that, so why don't you join the climatologist team?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Because that makes sense.
she was. It's so funny that Pike was all, you're gonna do fine, and then the
Right.
first thing she does is just start making nonsensical decisions,
Right.
and then for her to get upset about the science or the biology guy making, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
'cause I can understand if you don't like the Tribble concept, but it sounds like she just doesn't like it because Tribbles are cute. And I'm sorry, people are starving to death. If Tribbles are just animals, which we've not gotten any lick of, they don't appear in any way sentient or anything. They're just dumb animals. So why not farm raise Tribbles as a food source? If Tribbles are a viable source of meat, then my goodness, especially after he modifies them, what a perfect meat source. You know,
Well, and
Would you eat a
honestly,
dog? I mean, come on. Dogs are
this
cute.
dogs aren't Tribbles. And you know what? If I was starving to death, I would.
Uh-oh. To praying, I hope you didn't hear that.
No, she can't hear me right now. She's snoozing. But yeah, I'd throw her in the skillet if I was starving to death. I mean, okay, I'd probably have to, do something to hide her cute face. But but yeah. Of course, there's not much more than a chicken McNugget on
I
her.
was gonna say that's
Right.
like an aperitif or an amuse bouche.
Yeah.
It's not even an appetizer.
And Darren eats rabbits and squirrels all the time.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. Um, um, and so moving onward.
That look on her face was good.
And she is just like dumbfounded by, the fact that Edward wants to kill and eat Tribbles. And when he objects to her moving him from biology to climatology, totally different field of science, and her answer is, we're all scientists.
Yeah. More reasons why. Maybe Pike was just getting rid of her.
Yeah, I think Pike was actually just trying to get rid of her.
That is my new theory, and yeah, Pike was just trying to get rid of her. He knew she was up to no good in the neighborhood,
Right,
and there was no fixing that.
right. And so, so then we
Oh
get
my God.
Edward hanging out at the food processing station, talking about, yeah, the new captain. Boy, everybody thinks she's a jerk, and the crew's like, no, everybody kind of likes her. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks she's a jerk because he's just like trying to sow some bad will amongst the crew against her. Now, on the one hand, what he did was totally unprofessional. On the other hand, she did start it by telling the guy that he's got to give up his chosen field that requires at least a master's degree at his level, and now he has to learn a totally different field. So yeah, and Ariel says starvation and nudity would have ended with these Tribble moves. Oh, what? Because you could make clothing out of the Tribble fur? Yeah. So there'd be a thriving Tribble leather outfitters and Tribble fur coats. Yeah, it'd be awesome. So while he's sitting there at his workstation, which I'm sorry, what? How does that stack of monitors in front of him make any lick of sense to anybody? He would have to get so much neck strain, even if he was standing up to look at the top monitor.
It just goes in the list of things that keep getting done in this show that are done because they're cool. Hey, look, man, I could do this really cool thing. Look at me.
And Darren says that I'm so boring. Pick up the pace and let Jason talk.
So Darren, in Salty's defense, he's being very slow deliberately because I have a concussion and it's hard for me to keep up. So be nice.
Yeah. So,
The Tribbler? What?
the Sodium Spectre's first villain fight should be against the Tribbler. So
look at this. Planet X
yeah.
coming to your defense also. Thank you, Planet X.
Well, thank you, Planet X. Yeah, I don't think I'm boring either, but I'm biased, I admit. All right, so we have the captain laughing it up with other crew members while Edward is just kind of bummed out because she shot down his Tribble idea.
All by myself.
Yeah. So what does he do? I love the look on his face right there.
Yeah.
Nobody sees the Tribble in the box.
Yeah.
And so he sprays genetic material onto the Tribble to change its DNA. And boy, if they can do that, that's pretty impressive.
Actually, Darren, you wouldn't give a shit because you're gay. That's why.
Wow, dude.
What?
Just saying.
Crossing a line there.
Okay.
I mean, just because it may or may not be true doesn't mean it's not crossing a line to it.
I'm sorry. It is. You're right. It's just a theory, kind of like the flat Earth.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Well,
And Stanley wants to know how we feel about lab-grown meat.
Nope.
Is that a thing? That just seems
Yep.
scary to me.
It
It's
is,
just,
and also no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if if the lab-grown meat was the difference between saving people's lives and letting people starve.
Yeah, but it's not. There's so.
I'm just saying, if it was, then I wouldn't care.
You realize, like, especially in the eastern part of the country, there are just an overabundance of deer. Just that alone.
Oh
You know
no,
what I mean?
this is pure veganism gone wild. That's all it is.
Right. If we could clone just the meat and...
Oh yeah. It's like yeah. Anyway.
So then Edward gets called into the principal's office, and Captain Karen here says that
She's nice. She's cute.
Starfleet. What is it about? Karens don't have to be ugly. I didn't say anything about her looks.
I guess that's true.
So that Starfleet got a series of anonymous messages about her, and so Edward's like, "Oh, really? So what they say?" And she's bad at her job. She should be replaced immediately, and she's dumb. I don't know why I just like that.
Which the more I think about this short trek,
they're all right.
He's right. he's
I don't
in
know.
no way wrong.
I don't know. He gets really hung up on, I'm not dumb, you're dumb. And then we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that Edward isn't dumb, but I am agreeing with him that she is.
Yeah.
See, there's a difference. And I like, do you think you're dumb? And right here, see, she even says you're an extremely talented biologist, not climatologist.
Oh yeah.
And so, but her solution to the problem is to simply transfer him away, make it somebody else's problem. And so she's going to transfer him off the ship, even though he actually has a plan that could save the colony.
Ariel, this is not on the Enterprise. What's the name of this weird ship again?
This is the Cabot, a science vessel.
The Cabot.
Yeah. And Patrick thinks Pike did it with her. Well, or like Pike did with her.
No, like transferred her away, like Pike did with her.
Yeah. Maybe that's how she learned it. Yeah. So she's going to have him transferred against his will on day one as the captain, or well, day two as the captain, because they have a personality conflict. And the personality conflict started when she inappropriately tried to change his career.
Well, he's also extremely insubordinate, which is about like end of conversation.
Only after
and he keeps
she
arguing.
did this to him.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he only went all he was there the whole time, and then she took command of the ship. She takes over, starts making arbitrary command decisions, and he's just not going to have any of it.
well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of the feeling I got, especially because he didn't have a team and he worked by himself, and everybody that first scene, everybody at that table was looking at him like he was crazy, you know. So I kind of get the feeling like he's always been a problem, just an ignored one, you know. And she wasn't going to ignore him; she was just going to get rid of him. I don't know. There he is. I'm not dumb. He's so hung up on that.
Oh, he's definitely a guy that needs to work in a closet.
Oh my God! Wait
someplace.
till you guys see when
Yeah.
we pan down. This
So
yeah,
so
yeah.
now we got an alert going, and he comes out of his quarters wondering what's going on. And apparently, there's been a breach at one of the containment labs. Oh yeah, there's been a lab breach. So they're all going to check it out. And so as the camera pans out, he's standing there in his tighty whities.
Yeah.
You know, and so just like, yeah, okay, well, I guess that's a thing. And so when they come back, they find that Edward's experiments with the tribbles completely worked because now the tribbles are reproducing much faster. And Planet X, thank you so much. Butt kissing not required, but is certainly encouraged around here. So we all appreciate that. Except for Danny, who's too busy recovering from his gargantuan poop. And so, yeah, feel the meat on these. And so he's honestly thinking about the starving people. Everybody else is just so busy patting themselves on the back about plans that will take decades to implement. He's got a meat source that could work for the colony today.
I honestly have to wonder if the writers of this show actually understood what story they were telling.
Right, because it makes no sense that they wouldn't say, great, let's beam these things down to the planet so that they don't starve.
Yeah, I just have this sneaky suspicion that they thought that they were doing something clever to make fun of him.
Right, but they ended up parroting themselves.
Yeah.
And then now we do have this interesting thing where the tribbles just suddenly and explosively give birth.
Yeah, this is where, when we were watching this, I started going down the path of, this feels way too much like writers for, whatchamacallit, Lower Decks were involved, but then when we checked, they weren't.
Right.
So, it's like the writers were writing for the wrong show, and they just had the tone all wrong.
Right. So the crew is now actively trying to pick up all the tribbles, but unfortunately the tribbles are reproducing so fast that they can't keep up.
Well, and this is the other thing, is it was a cartoonish rate.
Right.
Like it was a literally cartoonish rate. You'd never see this except for in something that's just pure parody.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
Well, most of the short treks are kind
They
of.
definitely
you know.
are parody to a decent extent, that's for sure.
Right.
Like there's no getting around that.
well, yeah, I have to believe that the one with number one and Spock singing in the elevator is parody.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Spock did that without something triggering him.
Well, there was also that one we watched, the animated one, where Spock was trying to, the holiday one, where he was trying to make terrible things funny. But he
Well,
was-
that was the very short treks. And the
Oh,
very
okay.
short treks, they actually specifically said none of these are canon.
Oh, okay.
They didn't say that about short treks, but with very short treks, they made a very strong point to say these are not canon. So don't get worked up about some of the stupid things you're going to see. You know. So they're desperately trying to clean up the tribbles. They can't keep up. The tribbles are just popping out everywhere. And they calculate that in a matter of hours, the ship won't be able to produce enough oxygen to keep them all alive. So they need to figure something out. Now,
I still don't understand why they didn't just beam him off the ship or open up an airlock or something like that. But,
well, they open up an airlock, they all get sucked out too.
Well, I mean, no, you could put up barriers, block off certain areas where just tribbles are,
Right.
open an airlock, empty it out, close the airlock. I don't know. I just feel like this captain is not very good at her job. That's all.
No, she's not.
There's a lot of forced I'm incompetent or dumb going on.
Yeah.
Or certainly not fast on her feet. Let's just at least say that.
Right. And so
Transporters were offline. Okay, Patrick, fair enough. So
okay. And no, John, don't get me started on the sucked out, blown out thing again. It is a distinction without a difference. Just sucked out and blown out literally mean the exact same thing.
well, not in yesterday's show, because he wasn't blowing out cold air; he was sucking out all the heat. So there's a distinction there.
Well, no, he wasn't blowing at all. He was sucking.
Yes.
But that's referring to, like, if you said that he was blowing, that would have been accurate if he was exhaling.
So
Yeah.
you know what? There's a really dirty joke. I'm going to leave that alone.
At best, the only distinction is which side is actually exerting the force.
Right, but in the case of air pressure, it makes no difference because they both mean air traveling high speed from a high pressure zone to a low pressure zone.
Was Alita ever in Discovery, or is this the only appearance?
This,
she made in
this
Star
is her
Trek?
only
This is the
appearance.
only time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they fire her,
Yeah.
don't they? Basically.
At the end, well, we don't know, but
brought her
it looks
back.
like they are.
Yeah. But, the only character from this episode that ever appears again was Pike. So, which he was only in that opening sequence, of course. So her science officer figures out that they're born pregnant, and that's why they're reproducing so fast. Now, you might think, well, geez, it took Dr. McCoy a while to figure that one out. Yeah, but she never figured out that if you stop feeding them, that they will not reproduce. So, there's that. And so then he says, well, when you mix human DNA and triple DNA, crazy stuff happens. And everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute.
You did what?
Yeah. And yes, they reproduce asexually. Although in 1960s classic, oopsie, I'm scientifically illiterate writing, Dr. McCoy refers to the triples as being bisexual, not asexual. Which I always thought was funny. So the tribbles were an early, LGBT character. They're bisexual. and they're true bisexuals able to reproduce at will.
Oh, Planet X. Neither could Jason or I, but that's
Really, take them for what they're worth.
I'm
Good
enjoying it,
job.
but only enjoying watching these two suffer. That's
yeah.
that's where my enjoyment for the show
there is
comes in.
only one form of enjoyment going on, and that is that is Schadenfreude, and that is it.
If you hadn't spent, you're a good man. Hey, I was talking to a friend, my buddy Michael from college, and I had to, because his name is Michael and your name is Michael, I used your full name. I was like, I was talking to my buddy Michael Crawford, and he's like, the Broadway actor? I was like, what? Apparently
No,
you're
I am
famous?
not a Broadway actor. However, the Phantom of the reason I call myself Michael J. Crawford is to separate myself from Michael Crawford, the Broadway star.
Okay. I'm an uncultured swine. I didn't even know that was a thing until my
Yes,
buddy brought it up.
he was the lead in the Phantom of the Opera when it was running on Broadway.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Yeah,
Clearly,
and
he
I've
was
heard
more
him
cultured
sing.
than I.
He's very good. And yes, Daniel, this is a short track.
What are you telling me for? I know I was there.
No, Daniel's.
Daniel Sten.
Oh, Daniel Stenson?
That Daniel. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, not Daniel's Hot Topics, not Danny. Daniel Stenson. Yes.
Zimizim?
I am a Broadway star. Yes, that's true. So then they all break out the phaser rifles to stun the tribbles. Now, from what
Why
we
not just evaporate them like Terrell in Wrath of Khan? Why just wouldn't you just disintegrate them? Like wouldn't that be better, more effective?
Well, yes, using stun from a phaser rifle on a tribble makes no sense because it would kill the tribble.
But I will give them one thing. They were obsessed with whether or not these things were sentient. So them, just up and killing them is obviously, not on their high list of things to just go off and do. It's like, dude is trying to convince them to be eaten. They refuse to want to eat them. So,
But the funny thing is that the simplest way to verify what Edward's talking about, especially since he's saying underneath the fur they're all meat, that's telling me there's no brain in them at all. They're probably very little. If that's mostly just meat,
it's just furry
then-
insects.
yeah, then I think and a simple scan for the medical tricorder should tell you that these are not intelligent creatures. And
I am a meat popsicle.
yeah,
in
I do
that
love.
movie.
Yeah, so here we got a little homage to the Kirk getting dumped on from the overhead hatch.
Yeah.
But the tribbles are definitely reproducing too fast for them to do anything. And this poor girl.
See, this is just cartoonish at this point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's too much. They took it way past the point of, reasonable, to be honest.
Well, my only problem with her is that if you think about it, we see the exterior shot of the cabin where the decks are literally filling with tribbles, right? And that would happen eventually because, how exponential curves work.
Yeah.
And so if and I just dropped my mouse like an idiot. If the tribbles are very rapidly reproducing, then eventually the reproductive rate would become so high that you would literally see the ship filling with them.
I'll be right back. I got to give keys to Stacy, who's helping me with something from this morning. I'll be right back.
Sure. Okay. So I don't have a problem with the tribbles necessarily reproducing super fast. However, that being said, we clearly see this girl being crushed by a mountain of tribbles.
Yes.
And yet, at the end of this episode, we find out that Edward was the only person lost. So how did she get out of this?
Yeah.
That's my problem, is that whoever she is should have been a second casualty on the ship.
These shows are these short treks, as much as they try to be cute with this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it's just more demonstration of just how rough uh, the writing
Right.
is from the crew that's involved from Kurtzman.
Well, I
And
agree.
it's
But
just and it unfortunately is sadly reinforced by the fact that season 2 of Strange New Worlds was so
hit
roller
and miss.
coastery. Yeah, hit and miss all over the place. Yeah, they forgot she existed. Yeah, maybe she was a stowaway. I don't know. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, it doesn't seem, something doesn't add up here.
well, and this is why I see this as just way too cartoonish. This is why I think this is one of those situations where, if you're going to do this, understand that, you need to you need to accept the fact that some of this stuff just what is that all about?
That's just my alarm.
That you just need to do this as a cartoon, or you need to do it as, I don't know. They just don't do it.
Yeah.
I gotta
guess-
say, I have the best ex-wife on earth. She's a great human. I'm very fortunate. Sorry, that was random. I know.
Yeah. So right here, yes, Stanley, to answer your question, the short treks were produced to kind of shorten the gap between Trek shows. Because remember, when short treks came out, all we had was Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks were both in pre-production. Strange New Worlds was still way early in conception, because this is right after Discovery season 2 and before they even announced Strange New Worlds. So even though Pike is in it, this is before they knew they were going to have Pike have his own series.
Really? That I did not know.
Yeah. However, the short treks did end with a lead-in for Picard season 1. So here we have them still fighting the great triple battle to no avail. And honestly, yeah, what they should have done at this point, when it comes down to a matter of, okay, the ship is literally going to get wiped out because of these things, crank up the phaser to 11 and start evaporating some tribbles.
Yeah.
At that point, it's self-defense. I understand you want preservation of life, blah blah blah, but you just got to sweep the corridors with a phaser at maximum.
Like, how would they feel if they weren't? Let's say those were rats instead of tribbles. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the big problems is that the captain is so unsure if tribbles are intelligent. Like I said, one quick scan.
Well, we know rats are intelligent, yet we have no problem exterminating them. There's literally a profession out there called exterminators that do that for a living.
So here's that shot from the exterior of the ship.
This looks like live action Lower Decks is what this looks like right there.
But it makes sense. As much as it's silly and all that, if you took the concept of the tribbles from the original series, or TOS, as Lore Reloaded likes to say for some reason, and everyone says TOS. He is the only person I've ever heard refer to the original series as
Oh, I am quite confident that it's done only for your benefit.
Yeah. And so, but if the Tribbles existed just in isolation the way they did in The Trouble with Tribbles, if you didn't clean them up, eventually this would happen. You know,
Oh yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just
that's just how, you know, exponential curves work.
yeah, this is just honestly, this is just one of those moments where they should have just said, "Look, hey, this all these short treks are just for giggles.
Right.
None of them
Yeah.
are to be considered anything other
But they
than a
couldn't
bit
do
of a
that because the
laugh."
last short trek was a direct lead into Picard.
Well, Darren in the chat earlier said that this is wrong anyway because apparently Tribbles reproduced quickly in Enterprise, Archer's Enterprise show, which I don't remember, but I'm not going to debate him, on that.
Did
I'll
they?
take
I
word
don't
for it.
remember.
Yeah, I don't either, but
Yeah, I don't remember when they appeared.
I actually totally don't even remember seeing them in Enterprise, which is
Yeah,
funny because I've watched the season or the series a couple times.
yeah.
But
Well, Darren, if you can clarify that for us in the chat, maybe give us the episode name. That'd be nice. But anyway,
I do. Well, I think what Darren's talking about. I don't think we saw Tribbles. I think that it was mentioned, but I could be wrong. Oh, that's right. Phlox. Now, thank you, John. Now I remember. Phlox does use them as food for his animals, and he says he uses them as food because they breed quickly.
see, so this
So,
this episode of Short Treks can't be canon.
no.
or it could be a different strain of Tribble.
Or an
Well,
alternate
I'm
timeline.
or the writers suck and it's
I mean,
and my despondence is only going to get worse the sooner or the
Yeah.
minute that we get into Discovery.
So there's
Oh, here
Edward.
this
Yeah.
yeah.
Edward's like, I made the greatest discovery, ever. And so, and she's just trying to get him to come off the ship, but then
And
Edward,
the avalanche of Tribbles behind
yeah,
him.
gets run over by the Tribbles. And, thanks to the power of invincible force fields, they managed to get off the ship on a shuttle. And apparently that's the entire crew of the ship.
Yeah, it's just like what? This
A
show.
one shuttle.
This show. That's all I have to say about that.
And so then, we get another external shot of the Tribbles as they're literally filling the ship to the top. And then we get our court-martial scene.
Sorry, I love how this episode ends.
Yeah, this does have a good ending. So they're like, so basically, they explain that the Tribbles somehow, and there's no explanation, it's done off screen. But before you complain too hard about that, keep in mind other things done off screen include curing Captain Janeway and Tom Paris of being lizards.
Salamanders.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's not the craziest thing that they've done off screen.
No,
No
this
explanation.
is true.
So before you get, I know you're ready to attack, but before you attack on that point, there have been worse instances. But somehow the Tribbles managed to survive and get to the colony.
Well, I think they said the ship crashed on the planet surface, and then that's how they got out.
Yeah, but you tell me that a starship that was about to decompress because the Tribbles were multiplying so quickly, that the Tribbles survived re-entry in a dead ship.
Look, man, clearly these writers are just.
I'm just saying. Then somehow these same Tribbles got into Klingon space. Now, if the Tribbles survived getting to the planet, that could be explained that a Klingon ship happened to be there and picked one up and, brought it on board the ship for scientific study or something. But Klingons are repulsed by Tribbles, so that would seem kind of unlikely. Or maybe an independent merchant found it and then wandered into Klingon space. Either one.
It was just lazy writing. Somebody in the writers' room happened to remember. Oh, hey, don't the Klingons hate Tribbles? Maybe we should just throw a line in there that,
Right. And so basically, they're saying, and you're saying this was all caused by one crew member, you know. And then how do you explain that?
And I love
Long
it.
pause.
He was an idiot.
He was an idiot. Cut to black.
Cut to black.
Yeah.
He was an idiot.
So yes, good.
And since we never see her again, we can assume she was court-martialed, I guess, or unceremoniously fired at the very least.
All right.
Yes.
So, trouble with Edward. Danny.
Oh man. I'm gonna 5. I have to give it a 5. It's not. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. It was ridiculous. God, you killing me. Yeah. Oh, I thought we were good. Yeah, right there. 5. Oh God, I'm gonna throw up. Please.
Jason.
It's like a 3.
So 5 from Danny, a 3 from Jason. And Ariel wants to know which are worst, Borg or Tribbles.
Worse in what sense?
Yeah, it depends on what you mean.
Although tribbles are fun in a certain little way, tribbles are like, and I mean, prepare to be annoyed with the following statement, but tribbles are kind of like the Ewoks of Star Trek.
So I will say this. Now, granted, I would not defend this as being good Star Trek or fit into canon well or anything. But I do have to admit I was entertained by this episode. Not a ton, but I was entertained. So I'm going to give it a 6.
All right.
Because it was better than watching paint dry. And it didn't have Michael Burnham, so I probably would have given it a 5, but it gets a 6 as a +1 bonus for no Burnham.
It's kind of like how Vader does the half star for boobs. Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I would say 6 because moderately entertaining. And, yeah, so that Tribbles would eat people since Ewoks ate stormtroopers. Oh, Ewoks definitely ate those stormtroopers. There's no doubt about that, for sure. Anybody that thinks that Ewoks are these cute little teddy bears, no. Ewoks were munching on some stormtroopers.
I vaguely recall this conversation from a previous show, so yeah, I'm gonna just concede to you.
Yeah. Oh, right, so there we go. And so that makes our official score what?
I do not have the brain capacity for math right now. My head is pounding.
The research department was supposed to have the...
Yeah. 3, 5, 6. Whoops.
14 divided by 3.
It's
like 4 point something.
And divided by 3. 4 point. We're going to round down. We're going to go 4.5 because I'm in control.
Okay.
Wow.
He's the captain now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of rounding down, just so everybody is aware, next week, in place of the nerd fights that we usually do, we're going to be basically trying to correct a grave error put on the interwebs by Trek Yards.
So maybe we should call that episode Trek Fights instead of Nerd Fights because we're fighting with the Trek Yards people.
This is true.
Yeah. So just spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so, but yeah, so that's coming. So we'll rate at least all the villains that Trek Yards rated. Only we will rate them better.
I would say correctly, but that's
I would say more appropriately or correctly, but yeah it's definitely Yeah.
Yeah.
Mistakes were definitely made.
Yes. All right. So speaking of mistakes, now we can get into People of Earth, where we finally, Discovery finally makes its way home.
Have you put this our watch along on supportsalty.com yet, so people can watch Jason and I suffer in real time?
Not this one yet. No.
Oh my.
I'll be doing that probably today or tomorrow.
Share it with the people. They deserve to see. I suffered for this.
Yeah. We both did.
Yeah. So we open up with a montage of what happened to Michael in between.
Oh, are we gonna even get hot takes? Because I have a hot take.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, go ahead. What's your hot take?
I like Gilmore Girls, and I will watch that every day of the week, all day, before I watch this ever again after we're done this.
What the hell is a Gilmore Girl?
What
And
this
didn't we-
show wants to be, except in space.
Yeah, 'cause this is basically a bunch of walking and talking.
Except
in
in no
hallways.
way good at all.
Well,
crying.
a bunch of women crying, basically.
Well, that's what this episode was.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Remember,
at least
like,
I knew what I was getting when I signed up for Gilmore Girls.
No, and it's like even Michael was saying when we were watching it live, Tilly's whole emotional whatever.
Yeah.
You were a daffodil.
You saw her like an hour ago. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
the nonsense is just off the charts in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no argument for me on that. The nonsense level of this is just stupid. I do find the Tilly thing to be particularly frustrating because they just really, really play into that. Like, poor Tilly, she's crying so hard about, I used to imagine seeing you again, and it would just be such a wonderful, magical moment. I missed you so much. I was like, you saw her yesterday.
Yeah.
You literally saw her yesterday. Michael's the one that hasn't seen anybody for a year. But you saw her yesterday.
Yeah, there's just all kinds of everything makes no sense in this whole world is just drunk. And the worst part is it's trying to take itself seriously the entire time.
Me either, Cronus.
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the key differences between this and Strange New Worlds is this show takes itself so seriously, and yet is so ludicrous. Strange New Worlds does cross the ludicrous line a few times, but it's not taking itself too seriously.
It doesn't ever seem to come across as though it's taking itself seriously.
So this is also the episode where we get introduced to the they/them character.
Yeah, that's just I know.
Kind
all
of,
about-
yeah.
Yeah, I know all about the. Yeah.
Yeah. She hasn't decided that her pronouns need to be altered yet, though.
So my hot take, not that you asked, is I would rather get punched in the face again than watch this episode again. And I'm saying that as someone who literally got punched in the face.
Danny's like,
12
I
hours
have,
ago.
I have.
I have the black eye to prove it, man. Jesus.
So my hot take is the reason today's live stream was late was because Danny was depositing something more entertaining than this episode.
That was time well spent. Far more than having to watch this.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Eric, I kept telling Danny I was going to fly out to Vegas and punch him in the face, so I finally did.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah. All right. So we start out with a flashback of first we see and this is so stupid because this is not how the burn happened. Like you didn't have the entire, you didn't have the whole fleet just hanging around at one spot and then boom.
But hold on for just one extra second too. Okay, The show contradicts itself in the one episode alone. Okay, so the burn only blows up ships if they were at warp, except
Yet all these ships are
no,
sitting around.
they also
Yeah.
blow up if their warp core was active, which is
Right.
all the time, unless you're in space dock being
Right, or it's
fixed.
damaged or something, so you had to take it offline.
So basically, every ship except for the ones that are in dry dock, effectively,
Yeah.
are
And
all
by the
gone.
way, and I just want you to see and notice this because yes, these are real things, and we do see them again later, and they're everybody's dumb as you might think. Yes, we see right up here a starship shaped like a donut, and over here,
Oh, I thought that was from Independence Day. It looked
yeah, I
like
know,
one of those
and
ships.
over here a couple of starships shaped like the letter P.
I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, they're not normal shaped.
Yeah, the rest of them look like Federation starships. And at first, when they played this shot, my thought was, okay, they're showing ships from all sorts of different races or something. So
Maybe.
maybe the donut ship was from some other alien race. No, that is a Federation starship
Why?
because the creative team couldn't come up with anything.
That's true.
It doesn't have a nacelle, though. I thought all Federation ships had nacelles.
No, but when you think about what short trek we just watched, where basically it was just a frisbee with some
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
some rectangles drawn onto it.
So yeah, so there are some really dumb looking starships in this, and we will see more. All right, so here we see Michael is talking about how I became a courier because I am awesome and I was searching tirelessly to find my people. Maybe she should have just turned around because there's someone wearing a Starfleet uniform right behind her.
Is that the red one?
Yeah.
Oh, do we see this later? That's actually a Starfleet uniform?
Well, most Federation types are actually wearing gray, but that does look like a Starfleet uniform. Come
It'd
on.
be funny if it was.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this is another one of these dangers. There's always an outside chance that they shot a ton of garbage, and then they just started going through like B footage.
Right. Where
Oh,
can we...
John, just wait to the end of this log.
Oh yeah,
I'll let Michael go on his.
Oh yeah, I went
rant
off on this whole captain's log.
yeah.
So we find out that she's trying to uncover information on the Federation.
And that was a ship registry on whatever that little USB stick was. Did you
Yeah.
notice that?
Yeah, because she's trying to track down, remnants of the Federation. I mean, look at that. It's. I mean, I know that it's a ways off in the distance, but let's see if we can zoom and enhance a little bit. I mean, that looks an awful lot like a Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, it looks like a ooh.
Oops, sorry.
What was that?
That was me clicking on the wrong part of the butt there. All right, there we go.
That's yeah. I mean, it looks like a weird redesign of
Like the Wrath of Khan tunic or something.
yeah.
By the way, there's a Morn in the background there, in case anybody cares.
Oh wow.
Well, we've
Yeah.
seen that more in the previous episode as well.
Yeah. And Dorian looks really bored. There's another Andorian over there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so
And augment.
let's see. Let's turn off the augmentation. There. Yep.
Whoa.
There. All right.
Jesus. Sorry.
Many rings.
All right. So now we cut to this little montage of her hair growing as she's giving this extended log about what a crazy year it's been and how awesome she is for searching for her lost friends.
As much as I want to continue discussing this, I have. She brought my car back, so I'll be right back. So.
Sure. And so then we see her with her current hairstyle finally. And she talks about how for her travels, she made a friend with Book. Oh, yeah, and she's got to punch out the patriarchy. We forgot about that.
Oh yeah, and she smashes dudes that are
Look at
3 times her weight.
Yeah, I mean, look at this guy. He's like, he looks like he's a badass, but then now watch his movement carefully. He's like, uh-oh, I might actually hit her, so let me hold back. And look, he's got the fist back like he's going to punch her, and then, let me throw my arms back so she can punch me.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, and then
And so you're supposed to tell me little Sonequa Martin Green hits the guy, and Grant, I know he's just a hologram or a programmable matter or whatever, but still, you're telling me that Sonequa Martin Green with her scrawny little arms hit this guy and stopped him charging in like a bull, sending him flying backwards.
I know Kung Fu.
Right. Kung Fu is not a freaking superpower.
Yeah, well... stuff and things.
Right.
It only gets worse here in a second as we approach the end of the log.
Right. So I'm going to actually play the last few seconds of this log. But keep in mind, so what we've been seeing so far is Michael Murdom narrating the entire contents of the last year. All right, so... And she's continuing to narrate as we see her sit down with Book.
Luckily, I'm not alone on this journey. I found a friend in the true sense of the
Oh, God.
This
Why?
is life.
Ouch.
And I
Hello?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
came back at the perfect time. Okay. All right.
But,
Yeah.
So she is not talking. We're hearing her narrating, and yet her narration that she recorded at some later time was interrupted.
It's my life now. And
Makes no sense, right? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you do that?
These are excellent questions, none of which will ever be answered.
No, and I will tell you, yeah, they will never ever address it at all.
Nope.
And and by the way, why does she have a Discovery 23rd century phaser sitting on the table? I can understand the communicator because she's hoping that the Discovery will make contact with her.
She's just nostalgic. I don't know.
Yeah, the phaser makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh, she stole it from the set of Picard season 3. That's what it
No.
is.
Yeah. But yeah,
I
that's just
Makes no sense. Now, had she been talking to Book and that happened, that
Right.
would have made sense.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But she wasn't talking to Book. She was sitting there just,
Yeah, just none of it makes a lick of sense.
Like, if this were any other Trek show, what would have happened is it would have been something like, and Book and I became
that a
good
beer?
friends. Yeah, it's like space beer or something.
Space beer. Okay.
Yeah. So she would have said something like, and Book and I became very good friends over the course of this last year. But I began to think that I would never see my friends again until...
Yes. See,
Yeah.
that would have made sense.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
good
Yeah, if
Lord,
she
how
was-
hard is this, people?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the log was being played was functionally what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except she should have been just narrating the log the entire time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah, it makes
so
no sense.
stupid.
All right, so...
Yet you're making us watch it.
Yeah.
Well,
And by the way, why did she slow transport over to Discovery? Why didn't she use her insta transport? Is
Has
it
that been
just?
Okay, yeah, that was introduced.
Yeah, she was introduced to that in episode 1.
Yeah, okay.
Now, yeah, it's true that the crew of the Discovery hasn't seen personal transporters yet, and I think they were just saving that for when they bump into the Earth Defense Force people. But whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, here's everybody.
Yeah. Ermiger, I
I
only
haven't
saw
seen
you
you.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And why is she not in uniform?
Because the uniforms won't fit her anymore.
Okay, I didn't say
Well,
it.
you know.
I mean, I kind of did on supportsalty.com, but I'm not saying it on the YouTube stream.
Oh man.
No. The Tilly, yeah, remember, Tilly was impacted the hardest about this year without Michael Burnham. That was actually only
It's like a
hours.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, then everybody's just like, oh, Michael, praise Michael. May Michael be with you and also with you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I could understand them being happy that she's there, but they're making it seem like they haven't seen her in forever. You know, whatever. And there's Danny's favorite person in the whole world.
She's the only thing worth watching in this show. Come on.
Yep.
Michelle Yeoh. She really is.
I disagree, but that's
Well,
okay.
tell me who else is worth watching.
I didn't
this
say
show.
who.
Well, I'm saying who.
There's Pike in season 2. And
Well, you're not letting us watch season 2, are you? No, you're making us watch season 3.
well, there's the visual effect.
But if I remember correctly,
and actually,
They kill her in this season, which sucks.
First of all, careful of spoilers, and second of all, no, they do not.
Well,
I know most of the broad strokes.
Yeah.
The only thing that's killing me is having to watch all of the minutia of stupidity.
That's what gives my day meaning now.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying all of this.
Are these two about to kiss? What's going on here?
Yeah. She has a thing for, robot.
And to quote President Bush, I misremembered. I thought this chick died, but she never dies. I thought she died for some
No,
reason.
you're thinking of Arya, I think, from the first
the
season.
robot.
Robot chick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, and it's like, oh, it's you, and you, person who I don't
Is
know.
this the end of the Wizard of Oz? See,
Yeah.
you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
And so thank you, other black person.
Yeah.
So yeah, notice Saru's not in uniform either.
Everybody
Yeah.
just. Well, oh no! He's got an excuse because they were down on that. Both of them have an excuse. 'Cause they were down.
That's
on
Oh,
good.
that
that's right. That's
stupid
right.
mission with the stupid cowboys with spurs.
Right.
Because
okay.
reasons.
Yeah, and she just saved them from that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
my God.
So yeah, but you'd think in the when they got back from the mission that Tilly and him would have put on their uniform before they launched. They had plenty of time.
Isn't it canon? Is this a thing, or is this a fever dream? Can't they beam in one outfit and then when they get to the ship appear in their uniform? Is that a thing or no?
Yeah, they did that in Strange New Worlds.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I saw that somewhere.
Well, I mean, they did. I mean, they've done this. They've done that in a few different Star Trek properties.
Yeah, but Strange New Worlds is contemporary to this show. So
Sure, yeah, that's true.
However, this was produced before that episode of Strange New Worlds, so nobody had thought of it yet.
Ah, okay.
All right, so so they're busy tooling around on the ship and talking about how much they miss each other.
So look, I got to call my doctor and make sure it's safe for me to continue doing this with the concussion because it's just starting to get to me. So I'll be right back.
Right.
I kid. But seriously,
Well, I'll tell you what. If I start, if my BP goes
He's
through
trying-
the roof, then we know what's going on.
for a split second, Jason was like, "Wait a minute, a mild concussion could be an excuse to not watch Discovery."
I can work this out.
Yeah.
I'll mail you a flash grenade because apparently that's easier to mail to you than some fuel up.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Holy moly.
All right, so now we get our, we have to have Michael throne Saru because
Or not thrown, but anoint, or whatever you
Corny.
want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, is it just me or that shot a second ago? Not that it matters. I mean, because you'll get this bridge has a lot of empty. It just seems unnecessarily big.
it is. That's the That's why I mean, like the Strange New Worlds bridge, people complain that it's too big, and yes, the set is.
This
big.
one's way bigger. This one's huge.
Well, it's actually they use some of the same elements. I think they're built on the same spot, but.
Oh wow.
But yeah, this bridge is just a huge. There's way too much negative space, is what you call it.
Yeah, or empty space, negative space. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Dead space.
yeah. I also don't like the fact that their consoles look eerily similar to the next gen consoles. Like if you look at the console in this shot right here.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be 100 years before that.
Yeah, and it's like, gee, so you're telling me that they had that design before the original series, then they went to the Sulu Chekhov design, then they went to the next gen design. Why?
This
It was good to see you in action one last time, Captain Kirk.
I mean, this is honestly another. This series is rapidly becoming a great example as to why prequels are, at the minimum, are dangerous to make.
Yes.
Unless it's Rogue One, which I showed that clip
circumstances
yesterday.
have problems. Like Enterprise has got a lot of canonical issues, but we can usually overlook them because Enterprise is a better show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and as a Quantum Leap fan, I'm a sucker for Scott Bakula. So.
Well, I'm not a Quantum Leap fan, so that I didn't have that advantage. But Enterprise was a fun show.
Keely Chow, what's up?
Yeah, Keely. So Michael's still pontificating on the bridge because that's what she does.
So doesn't she? Correct me if I'm wrong though, because she makes Saru captain in this scene. That's what she's doing right there. Here's the chair.
Yeah.
Doesn't she end up? Am I like again? I know I'd never finished this season, so maybe I saw it somewhere. But doesn't she end up the captain somehow? Like this? Like
Yeah, she does.
okay,
Because of course she does.
yeah,
Because she's Michael.
yeah.
And it's really lame the way they do it. But,
This show is really in this season in particular, I think I could be wrong, is like the epitome of like just shoving in every woke agenda possible. The chick's name is Michael. We've got openly gay guys who just brush their teeth next to each other and talk about nonsense and make out real long and slow. And we have this they-them character coming in. And then we get a trans character this season also. Spoiler alert. It's just all this weird, just pigeonhole, all this why.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just don't get it, I don't care. So here's my thing about I forget her name.
Meanwhile, they're not telling good stories. And
Right.
that's,
I would not have had an issue at all with the they-them character because she's a trill. Or well, she's not a trill, but she's got the thing in her.
it's a human trill hybrid, kind of.
Right. So, I mean, that makes sense because, she's the culmination of like hundreds of lifetimes. So that's a they. I get that. But no, they didn't do it that way. They had to shove it in our face in like the political way.
Yeah, like let's just be clear about one thing here.
Yeah, because trills have been non-binary from the beginning. But
The Deep Space Nine writers figured out what to do with trills after the kind of goobery trill that we got in TNG.
Right.
The one that fell in love with, that Crusher fell in love with, and then became a woman, and Crusher was like, I can't do that. I like Dick too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the actual line.
I mean, that was basically what she said without saying it. I mean, you know.
She likes her pump action phasers.
There you
That's
go.
what I mean.
Oh my God, I love your little subtle jabs at Picard season 3.
Well, that one was definitely that was good. But yeah, I mean, they did Trill far better than what's going on here, and what I can assume is only going to continue to go on.
Well, they go to the Trill, or
yeah, they go to the Trill homeworld. Yeah,
yeah, and that's a big thing because you're not supposed to. You're a human, blah blah blah. And they're like,
all right.
I can't remember. I think they want to kill her or something. I can't.
Right.
Remember.
The problem is, and this was a retcon from the original TNG thing, because in the TNG it seemed like the host could just go into anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Then in Deep Space Nine, they established that no, Trills can only bond with other Trills, and even then, only people that are capable of dealing with it.
Well, not just that. You got to go through. It's kind of like going through catechism. I can't have communion unless I go through catechism. You can't have a Trill host unless you go through.
It is not a small deal to be bonded with a Trill parasite.
Yeah, even for an actual Trill person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also, but now the one thing they are kind of sticking with, but it wasn't true in Riker's case, is that once a Trill bonds, you can't unbond after a certain amount of time because.
I mean, unless you're Riker.
Yeah, but
no, it wasn't like instant, but it was pretty quick. It was, it was days or weeks. It was not a very long period of time.
But yeah, so
come on, Kronos, what's not to get? I mean, you didn't watch Deep Space Nine?
It's a critter that lives in your belly, and
you merge your personality with them.
Yeah, it shares who you are.
You do a Trill are a joined Trill is truly a non-binary character.
Yeah, it's not too dissimilar from the Scarab and Blue Beetle. I know you guys haven't seen it yet. I finally finished it because it like goes inside and bonds with his spine, and then they telepathically communicate with each other, and in remembering previous. It's kind of the same thing, actually.
What a lot of people don't realize is that the T in LGBT is actually Trill. It's for lesbians, gays, binars, and Trills. I believe is. All right.
I always thought gay and lesbian was redundant. I thought that was the same thing, but anyway, I'm old.
Well, that's because
the ladies wanted their own name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I guess gay is too masculine feminine sounding as opposed to lesbian that's feminine masculine sounding, or something. I don't know.
Stuff and things.
Yeah.
I was really hoping instead like Dyke would have stuck around, but that just apparently not.
Wow. Just working to get me kicked off of YouTube. I really appreciate that.
I didn't say kike. I said Dyke. Jesus, man.
Well, now you said
Now you dialed it all the way.
And by the way, you want to be very careful about that because what's going on right now in the Middle East.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
The algorithm is on high alert for stuff like that. So
I apologize.
Yeah.
I said kite. Kite.
Dude, stop trying to fix it.
You can't fix it.
Kronos, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or not. I talked about it yesterday. I didn't get to finish watching it until after the stream, and I loved it. I'm mad I didn't watch it in the theater. I thought it was really, really good. So you take that, it's coming from me though, so take it with a grain of salt. And yes, I cried for a good 45 minutes during the 2-hour and 10-minute movie. So it was good.
So this is the coronation of Saru.
Oh, we're still here? Oh,
yeah, we really don't have to dwell on this for any longer than necessary. What is scary is almost everything to do with
Oh, there's
people.
the smug right there. Look
Yeah.
at that. That's.
So here's kind of a scary thought for you. So for all of the terrible that there is to do with the Scooby-Doo foolishness in this episode,
Yes.
nearly 2/3 of this episode is just junk.
That's why they had to hurry up and do the Scooby-Doo thing. Because they didn't
Stanley,
have
are you talking
time.
about this review website? Because if you are, no, I haven't finished posting my review yet. I started it, but I haven't published it yet.
Because Danny is a perfectionist, and he's going to try to write 17 pages when what really people just want is a paragraph.
It's a
telling
paragraph.
if the movie
Yeah,
is
I know.
any good or not.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're doing a written review, brevity is better. And hey, Matt, how you doing? Mr. Vader's in the house.
No, we don't. He does this to us, Vader. Michael's doing this to us. This is my penance.
Yeah, Michael
is what
Burnham
this
is doing this to him.
I have
No,
no
Michael
idea.
Crawford.
I have no idea what I did, but
Yeah, you just happen to get caught up in my
Well, you're
shitstorm. I'm sorry,
Canadian, aren't
Jason.
you? That's
Yeah.
enough of a
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just say, Mr. Vader, your extremely succinct review is even more true for season
Yes.
3. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, so here we are, finally getting to the credits.
The worst.
After the
This is worse than Enterprise. I'm sorry. And everybody that knows me knows how much I hate the Enterprise intro. I hate it. This is worse.
Which is kind of a scary thought.
Yeah. So then we get a little bit of shots of the exterior of the Discovery. Why do they have shuttle pods working on repairing the ship when they have their super duper R2 units doing it? I mean, why put people in danger at all? Why not just let the R2 units do all the work?
Got to pay those graphics artists.
Yeah, I'm just saying. If you're going to use the R2 units, then just use the frickin' R2 units. And then we get to... Oh, here's your favorite scene, Jason.
Oh, God.
This is Jason's favorite scene in the entire...
The Gilmore Girls scene. Yes.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
Yeah, this is just so stupid.
So Tilly is sitting there at this wall. Somehow, in less than a day, they've set up a wall, a memorial wall for all the people that have bravely lost their lives saving the universe and Discovery. And so now Michael shows up, and they start talking about how much they miss each other over this last year. And, you know... She saw her yesterday.
Yep.
It's been one freaking day.
As the professor of alternate timelines, Mr. Crawford, is Vader correct here?
Well, you could argue that they canonized the idea of an alternate timeline in Strange New Worlds. However, I prefer think of Strange New Worlds as being in a different timeline than Discovery, because Discovery is so bad that it belongs in it's in the checkbox timeline. That's,
Again, Vader, I know you just got here, so I'm going to repeat something I said earlier. I would literally rather get punched in the face again than watch this episode again. Yet he's making us review it after watching it together. It's just cruel and unusual punishment. It's not fair.
Cruel, yeah, I'll own that. Unusual, no.
Yeah.
And remember, it has to be both to be unconstitutional. Right,
Vader. Because I have because I'm not kidding. I did get punched this morning, and I have a black eye, and he broke my glasses, and I'm chink-eyed, so sorry.
Yeah.
Dude! I did it again. I know, I did it again. I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm just so...
Gosh,
Look,
dude.
you
know what's for real.
You know what's funnier than anything with what's going on tonight is not like it's a lot of years, but it's just the fact that I could sit here and say, you're the youngest of the three of us.
I know, but I act like the
And
oldest.
you're the guy that sounds like he's from 1963.
Yeah.
It's just...
I'm just an old soul. Look at, oh
man.
God, see,
My
this is what he brings the word or the best out of me. I can't even look past that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I love you, Vader.
any day now, this
that's something.
YouTube's just going to come after me. Your channel has been terminated due to multiple violations. You know that happens, right? That YouTube will save them up and sometimes just knock a channel out of the blue. And so,
You got to be Russell Brand for that to happen. Come on. Ouch.
no, it happened to Lore Reloaded.
It did. Oh.
Yeah, he had to
Well,
fight something not that
Yeah.
too many long years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, his whole channel got banned out of existence, and he never did find out the exact reason. So yeah, please, Jenny, please.
Yeah. No, I gotta work on this filter.
Yeah, I know you got to work on it, but you need to work on it immediately.
Yes, sir.
Because you've dropped 3 racial slurs in this live stream. I'm amazed we are still broadcasting.
Well, one of them technically wasn't racial. I mean, come on.
Don't try to defend it.
Okay. Let's just get through this, please. I'm sorry.
Technically.
Yeah. Well, as long as it was only speciest, then maybe we could skate by.
Oh, good Lord.
Man, this.
Hey, now,
show-
I don't know if the chat can get you in trouble too, but I don't know if that's an
Yeah, you need to be careful about that stuff in the chat, guys. Please don't encourage him or start throwing stuff like this.
don't get
And believe
too
me,
excited.
I know that I have at least one good moderator out there that will start kicking people if they start dropping stuff. So just don't. We had a rash of it for a while, and fortunately, that seems to be gone.
I have to Google this.
No, don't even answer that. Shut up. No, you're not going to say one word about that cartoon.
I don't. I'm not familiar with it. That's all I'm saying.
No, I don't want to hear.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
You know that if Vader's chair,
You can't talk about. Danny cannot talk about that cartoon without being racist at some point.
which
Is why Matt Vader asked.
And if Vader's sitting in a chair that swivels all the way around right now, he's just spinning. He's yeah, exactly. Cry,
He's
havoc,
stroking
and
his villain
unleash the
beard
dogs
and
of
laughing.
war.
Vader, I will have my vengeance in this life or in the next.
Oh man. All right, so Gilmore Girls, and yeah.
And it's a long scene. Of
This is the one where like she imagined her as like what, a daffodil.
Oh
or
yeah,
something?
there's like
Or
cakes and
dandelion or
yeah,
something.
cakes and daffodils.
Cakes,
and,
yeah.
I mean, it's so stupid because Michael. If Michael were saying this to Tilly, I could at least buy that she missed her. You know, Vader's crying right now.
Achievement unlocked.
Yes.
Man tears achieved from Vader.
Oh, that's awesome.
Corona says she has the anorexia. Tilly, you can see she's lost weight there, and it's.
Are you kidding me? We were literally when
That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. Don't say anything.
Okay, I won't. I don't want to be
she's some.
like I don't want to body shame on top of everything else I've done today.
Go with what the new phrase is. She's just high calorie.
Is that a thing? That's what that. Oh, I hadn't heard that. Right?
It's only kind of popped up in the last, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, but it's a weird, sort of polite way. I find it's kind of a little pokey. I don't think it is actually polite, but anyway.
Meanwhile, since I had my hip replaced, I've lost 25 pounds. So
See, and then they got to finish with some girl crying. More.
There's more crying in the first 3 episodes of this than I think there is in all of Gilmore Girls, and I'm not even exaggerating.
yeah. Look at that. Look at that. I don't need this in my Star Trek. The only tears I need are from me watching Spock die in Wrath of Khan. That's it.
Exactly.
I don't need this. I don't
Need
like come
proper
on.
man tears.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't do it. Oh, God, damn it.
Oh,
If that's your cat, I'm rooting for the cat.
Yes. It's like, ow, ow! Come on, man.
Get him.
Jesus, ouch!
it's like Goku.
No, he's Gokuzzilla now after yesterday's show. He's
He's
Gokuzzilla.
already. It's like your master's already been assaulted and batteried.
Right? Come on. Okay. If you just stay there, we'll be okay.
Yes.
Oh,
anyway,
that's
yeah.
Tilly reacting to the cat hopping up on me.
No, that's totally trying to gag on your.
Don't say it. I mean, I wish
Oh,
it was.
no.
She's trying to swallow, and she's just like struggling.
John actually apparently did the work, and they do apparently literally cry in every episode of this.
Oh my
season.
God.
That's
Great.
Yeah.
So, was this show the one that also had the Ugly Betty writers, or that was something else?
No, that's Strange New Worlds.
That was
Strange New Worlds has all the Ugly Betty writers.
Man, how long is this freaking conversation? Oh, look.
I told you they spent
Yeah.
2/3 of the show.
Don't you remember? Like, if you go watch this on Salty or supportsalty.com, this is the scene where I literally say, "Is this entire episode just people walking and talking and crying?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Look, she looks like a penguin there.
Like how far in are we?
This is only episode 3.
No. Like timeline wise in this show. In this episode.
all right, Vader, have fun at work.
I don't know, probably about 15 minutes or so.
Are we sure we're not 30 minutes?
I know, right?
Let me see.
I'm going to suddenly have an enforced bedtime here if we don't get
We're about a third of the way through the episode, yeah.
that is just nuts. Like
Yeah.
that's just
And basically, yeah, what we've had happen is the coronation of Saru and Michael and Tilly crying.
yeah.
Yeah, we haven't even got to the people of Earth.
So then the one interesting conversation happens, which is Book and Georgiou.
Well, that's because the only interesting thing in this show ever involves Georgiou. But,
I actually like Book until they ruin him later.
I don't like them.
You just don't.
do he and Michael actually ever end up?
Book and Georgiou's conversation is like microscopic because we've got to move on. That fails the anti-Bechdel test because there's a tube in the scene. And so this is Discovery's supply of dilithium.
Yeah, they have all the dilithium. They are why the burn actually mattered.
Yeah, the reason the burn mattered is because Discovery left with enough dilithium to power. Keep in mind, when Discovery supposedly left the timeline, assuming prime timeline numbers for a second, there were only 12 Constitution-class starships. And a Constitution-class starship only had 5 dilithium crystals on it.
Yet this is a I don't know, a cornucopia of dilithium.
Oh, it's like the beast from the east.
Yeah, and I mean, you could power all of Starfleet with this dilithium.
In Kronos, Jason and I have been saying this the whole time. It's torture.
And they didn't name their kid Book Kronos. His name is Cleveland Booker. And dilithium is now pinkish red.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's more girly.
Not to be confused with the five-time WCW champion Booker T.
Nobody cares.
It's funny, I actually remember that name when you said that.
So their plan is to use the spore drive to go to Earth because they found a transmission from Earth saying that
A 12-year-old transmission.
Yes, a 12-year-old transmission from Earth from a Admiral Sen Atal, I want to say.
Sure.
And that they're trying to get Starfleet ships to come together and work together to rebuild and stuff. So their plan is to use the spore drive to jump in just outside of Earth's solar system beyond their scanning range. Okay, problem number one, we know that just the Enterprise's scanners can scan a solar system from multiple light years away.
Yeah.
And so...
And this is
like
900 years.
And this
in the
is 900
future.
years later. So you're telling
Do
me...
the writers not even watch Star Trek? I mean,
No.
come on, man.
No, the writers
Well,
definitely don't.
No, and I'm off to IMDb to just absolutely trash on these writers here. So please stand by.
And this is where they jump to.
Yeah, the edge
Saturn.
of the solar system apparently starts at Saturn, not the
Yeah.
Oort cloud
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
or
I know Pluto's
Pluto.
not a
I know
planet
Pluto
anymore.
got demoted, but
Yeah.
either way, the edge of the solar
Well,
system.
Uranus,
Yeah, right.
Neptune.
Yeah, Neptune at the least. But
Yeah.
I mean, as like we all know that. Well, we all know these writers are nowhere near smart enough to know this. The solar system starts effectively at the heliopause, and they sure as all get out aren't even that.
You know what
away.
you know what the writers to that show would say? I'm offended because I haven't reached heliopause yet. I haven't even gotten through that.
I just need Star Trek writers to watch one episode of Blue's Clues so they know how our solar system works. Do you guys know the song? Taught my
No.
kids this song. Well, the sun's a hot star and Mercury's hot too. You don't know the song?
No, I
Venus
never
is
watched
the brightest
Blues.
one, and Earth's home to me and you.
I'm a little too
Mars is the
old
red
for
one.
Blue's Clues. All right.
Jupiter's most wide. Saturn has those icy rings, and Uranus spins on its side. Neptune's really
Uranus needs to
windy,
be white.
and Pluto's really small. Well, we wanted to name the planets, and now we named them all.
All right, here we go. Writers.
Just come on, it's a children's show, man. Jesus. No,
All right,
Saturn.
so we
That's
got
the edge of our.
Anthony Marinville. Hollywood Adjacent, The Secret Life of Orange Traffic Cone Assassins, one episode of Monk, and some short called Mimesis. Yeah, let's hire him. Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Chris Silvestri.
I haven't heard of
just
any of that
Star
stuff, except
Trek.
for that. Yeah.
He's only ever written for Star Trek Discovery, or I will just say
So
Curzon
that's his
Direct.
first job.
Yep. Brandon Schultz. Okay, let's
I
see.
wrote nothing.
Blockheads Mission G animated web series and Blade Bloodthirsty. It's just a video.
Kronos, I have to agree with you. In fact, Jason said something funny about the ship on our watch along. Remember, supportsalty.com. What'd you call it? A pizza cutter? I
Yeah.
think you call it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right. It looks like a pizza cutter. So, anyway.
Like just these writers are no.
And you know what's interesting is that remember now maybe I'm getting my astrophysics wrong. So where is Titan?
Titan is a planet
It's a,
around.
no, it's a moon. No, it's a moon.
Or
A Saturn
moon,
moon.
sorry. Yeah,
Is
it's a
it
moon.
Saturn, though?
I
Yes,
think
it's
around
it's
Saturn.
Yes, it's one of Saturn's
Yeah.
I
moons.
yeah,
I think Saturn
Titan-
has like 8 moons, and Titan's the
it's a
biggest
lot.
one.
It's
No,
like
Titan's got a lot more than
60
8. But yeah.
Jupiter and Saturn each have something between like 60 and 100 satellites each.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
So-
biggest one. It's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I just want to make sure. So Titan is in orbit around Saturn.
Yes.
So, based on that, the fact that Discovery jumped in right here, you know, I know that it's kind of addressed later on, but I mean, look, they jump in and they are right there.
Yeah. There's not like a
There's no
flight
cruise
scene.
time.
No.
Yeah. It is one continuous cut of the ship jumping in with the spores And then the camera pans around the ship, and there's Saturn, close enough to where that means that there are moons of Saturn that are further away from Saturn than Discovery is right now.
That doesn't
So,
seem safe.
That's possible. I'm going to check because you may be.
if Saturn is
right.
that large in the
In
frame,
yeah, I would agree.
yeah. So, I mean, think about it. The Earth isn't that large appearing from the moon.
True.
You know?
Very true. Very true.
All right. So, all right. So Saturn is apparently, it's got Titan. Titan is where the bad guys are.
Yeah. So tell me how they didn't detect the base on Titan.
How they
yeah,
did the base, and how the people from Titan, because remember, he was like, well, it just seemed like you kind of showed up suddenly. Dude, you should have been able to see it out your window.
Yeah, the Black Manta looking dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost managed to forget about those guys.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then, and by the way, another really annoying thing is that so they have no warp drive, right? Because they took it offline so that they could. They're going with the facade that their dilithium was all rendered inert, so that they can before they.
And that's
play
how
with
they
it.
survive the burn or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But notice,
It's a short conversation from Saturn to Earth, apparently.
right? So basically, Book says, "Holy crap!" Because they just jumped. And so this conversation that they're having on the bridge is about jumping and their current astrometric position. And then, same conversation, she looks up and says, there she is, and there's Earth. So,
Obviously, Mother hasn't been watching the show. Vader left about 20 minutes
Yeah.
ago. But
So here's your answer.
POS impulse engine got from Saturn to Earth in a few seconds. 146 moons, according to Facebook.
where the hell did I get 8 from? Maybe it's got 8 big ones. I don't know.
Right, so hold on. I'm doing a little bit of editing here. Just
I have some fun for you.
uh,
The farthest away from Saturn moon is close to 40 million kilometers.
Say that again. The closest is 40
the
million
closest, or the farthest, sorry, is
the
40
farthest.
million.
Okay.
And Titan is so close. Where they jumped in is inside of Titan's orbit, for sure, because of the way the VFX were done for that. No, it's just like
all right, so right here. Okay.
it would be so much more forgivable if it wasn't for stuff you can look up on the internet in 5 minutes.
All right, so 24 seconds. Actually, 25 seconds, because 24 seconds and 28 out of 30 frames. So 25 seconds from this frame where the spore drive is still operating to this frame where they're actually looking at Earth from what looks like within the moon's orbit.
Am I not remembering correctly? Do you not have a Power of Math video?
I do, and in that video, we see...
And it
we see the launch of the Enterprise refit, which, remember, the Enterprise refit has more advanced impulse engines than the Discovery, because the Discovery takes place 10 years prior to TOS.
And did you not just rail on this whole thing in this, the whole Saturn?
I don't remember if I did on this one.
I'm pretty sure
I did, yeah. But yeah, because in that movie, in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, when after the Enterprise refit launches, it takes 8 hours for them to get to Jupiter, which is not as far out as Saturn. And I did the math, and guess what? That's an accurate number.
The one from
based on
TMP.
TMP is accurate,
Yeah.
based on the fact that they say that they're traveling at warp 0.5, half the speed of light under impulse.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in an inferior impulse drive, and they make a trip from twice as far away, minimum twice as far away. It could be much more than that, depending on the relative positions of Saturn and Earth's time of year thing. But at least twice as far away, they make the same jump in 25 seconds. That would require warp travel, folks.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way you can get across the solar system at impulse drive in 25 seconds.
So, I don't know why my phone thought this was important to tell me just now. Apparently, Matthew Perry died from Special K.
Yeah,
So
I know
Western-
that.
Oh, I had not heard anything.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't know
just
that.
came out today.
I kind
Yeah.
of suspected that was going to be an unfortunate end because he's had a long, hard road.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, here's a fun number for you. The planet Saturn has a orbit around the sun, a mean orbit of 1.4 billion kilometers. So you have to add on however many additional millions of kilometers Earth is from the sun. And then you can do the max distance of Earth and Saturn if they were actually on far sides of the solar system. But but Saturn is so obscenely far away from the sun
Right,
that
because
even
that's-
adding that on doesn't even matter. And let's just remember, it takes 8 minutes for us to find out the sun exploded.
Right. Well, that's why the
And
8
that's
hour
the speed of light.
Right. That's
Yeah.
like speed of light to what's does your little thing say how long it takes light to get to the different planets?
No, I'm just kind of jumping around, but
Well,
I can.
I'm sure
I
you should be able to find that real quick. How long does it take light to get to Saturn? If it's more than 8 minutes and 25 seconds, it's a big L, and I know for a fact that it's in the
Well, it
hours.
is.
divided by
Yeah,
that,
it's definitely more than that.
Yeah.
He just said it was Earth took 8 minutes.
Earth is 8 minutes, but
Yeah.
It takes an
And,
hour and a half almost
okay.
to go from Saturn to the sun. So at worst, it's a full hour and a half between Earth and Saturn, and that's at 1C at warp 1.
Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna go with a big no there. It's too
That
close
does
to the sun.
not have. It does
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And neither does Venus.
Yeah, so bare minimum, it should take them, assuming that their impulse engines are actually capable of going warp 1, but it should take them an hour and a half
Yeah.
instead of 25 seconds.
Yeah. So like at half C, it's like a minimum of 3 hours.
Right.
So, and being, I keep saying C because that's the scientific notation for speed of light.
Yes, we know you're smart, blah, blah, blah.
I
Or I'm
just
sorry,
can't-
we'll be like Tilly. Okay, everybody's smart.
No, I'm just so used to referring to it as that. So, but yeah, it's this show, the writers,
I bet we're not even halfway through this shit show yet.
We're almost exactly halfway through.
they go to Earth. Earth has idiots. They have a shield. They don't understand how to, raise communications with their pirate brethren that are living on
How
Titan.
could they?
Because I don't know. Because they're stupid.
See, that's where you're wrong. They're not stupid.
Oh,
They're
they're all
just-
kinds of stupid.
Let's see, where is it?
Come on, we're almost to the Earth defense system.
You gotta
Yeah.
give me a minute. Geez, I can only do so much.
Oh no! Let's go back. What do you know?
Oh, hey, no, hey,
No.
this is way better than Discovery. What are
Yeah,
we
but I
doing
want to
here?
get the
Yeah.
Discovery over with.
We'll get
Yeah,
the
right.
Discovery over within a minute. I just wanna. Let's see.
He wants to give me grief about saying stuff, yet he's going to show a pedophile on his show. That's great.
Decker.
Dude,
Yeah.
well, first of all, I don't think was he actually convicted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, but is that what he was convicted of?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know he got in some trouble. I don't care because he's
And
not,
yet he freezes the frame on the man. Good God.
Well, will you shut up for a minute? All right.
In other inconvenient news for large franchises, did you see that we're pretty much probably definitely most likely not going to be seeing anything more of Kang?
Really, I actually heard the opposite because this video footage proved that he was running away
No,
from
there
that
was a
crazy
bunch
white
of
woman.
text messages and emails that got read out in court in the last couple days. Ain't good.
Well, we'll find out. But I'm
All,
not.
all I saw
I-
that TMZ video on
So-
Twitter making the rounds, and it was hilarious.
Well,
Right
well,
here.
he Oh yeah, this from this scene forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the Enterprise leaving Earth. All right. So they are under impulse, and all right. So yeah, right here they're at Jupiter, and so. So yeah, right here, just after passing Jupiter, we hear this.
Stardate 7412.6. 1.8 hours from launch.
Yeah, so
1.8 hours.
hours.
yeah, so they're cranking it.
Mhm.
So they'd have to both be on the same side of the sun
Right.
because he got the Jupiter that quick. And it's 2 hours nearly,
Yeah.
and they were giving her.
Yeah. And they are in emergency mode.
Yeah.
You know, trying to intercept the alien as early as possible.
Well, back in those days, Star Trek said you couldn't warp in your own solar system, right? Wasn't that something they said?
No, that was never a thing in TOS. That was something they did in well, actually, no, they did say it in TOS. They did say in order to try and intercept. That's actually the next part of this log. This
Yeah.
is the first time they say it.
Which
Uh,
honestly, the thing that kills me is what's going on here. And as much as I love my old Trek stuff, and especially the original cast movies, what we have here is a failure to understand that space doesn't care what direction your ship is oriented,
Right.
and getting out of the solar system in no way has anything to do with having to follow the plane of the planetary orbits.
Right.
Right?
In order to intercept the intruder at the earliest possible time, they must now risk engaging warp drive while still within the solar system.
See? Yes, I knew it. Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's dangerous to the people. I think they're trying to imply that because they might hit something, except that your odds of, if you shot a bullet away from Earth in any direction, your odds of ever hitting anything are incredibly small.
Well, and
Space
that's
is mostly empty.
to say nothing of the fact that, even though now we know about the Oort cloud, back then they didn't. You've got navigational deflectors.
So I only get to do this once a show per Salty's rules. Thank you to the 16 people in Salty's chat watching us right now. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. We've only got 11 over there. And thank you to the 4 watching on mine, and somehow I have 5. So thank you very much.
That's because at least somebody went over.
No, Vader left already, so I think
Yeah.
one of those was his. Yeah. So.
Or it was somebody that felt bad for you on mine and went over to yours and hit the thumbs up.
Which is highly likely. Yes, that's true.
All right, so they made their 35-second micro warp jump across the solar system.
Oh God, we're back to. I thought we were switching to TMP. I was excited.
And so, and then we get our gratuitous man sex scene.
It's just any excuse to get the dude's shirt off,
Yeah.
That's how Star Trek's always like.
We got to objectify men as much as possible.
Oh my God, what is her? I meant to ask this on our watch along. Is that like an ad? Like, what is that badge that Georgia's wearing? Because it's different from everybody else's. Is it like
because
an admiral thing or something? Or
no, because she's not an admiral. She is.
I know she's not, but because they're all pretending anyway. I'm just wondering what it is.
Right.
Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure that there's something to it, but I don't remember what it is. So then we meet her. She is the captain, I think it is, or is it Commodore or whatever. Anyway, she works.
Matter.
She works for Earth Defense Force, and she's angry because a Federation ship shows up after the Federation's left Earth like a long time ago. So
Which
they
just
decide that
makes no sense.
right. And so they decide they're going to force the Discovery to yield to an inspection. And so then you get Danny's favorite character.
Oh, fuck you. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. See, I'm more bothered by taking the Lord's
this-
name in vain than dropping the F-bomb.
This
You're killing
show is so triggering. It just
Yeah.
Danny just loses it.
So yeah, so she is one of the Earth Defense Force people who are trying to inspect the Enterprise because Earth is now xenophobic and fascist, apparently, according to what they think is fascism, which just means militaristic, which is not what fascism is. But the and so then they see on the monitor Black Manta from Aquaman 2 is threatening to attack, and so things are looking scary. There's a look.
That's a scary look.
Yeah, pausing in video can be so much fun.
Yeah, that's just like the perfect. All right, so
You and that new effect. What's that called again? You love that thing.
He's got a shuttle wheel on
He's
an actual
okay.
control
Yeah.
board, so
Oh, okay.
he can jog
yeah,
super
Gotcha.
easy.
yeah,
You know what's really bad is that helmet almost looks like something out of 50s sci-fi.
yeah.
Right.
And so so they find this guy is through shenanigans, most hilarious. Michael Burnham book managed to kidnap this guy.
Got the truth.
And then literally 2 seconds later, the secret is out because, let me go back. We have our Scooby-Doo moment. We literally have, in this case, Georgiou is stepping in for Fred, saying, let's see who's really behind the mask, shall
Yeah.
we? And so she just pulls it off, and we see who it is. And it's like, Old Man Carruthers!
Yeah.
And he explains that he was just trying to scare the kids away because he heard there was lots of good mining there on Titan, and he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and that stupid dog.
Or in this case, a badass empress from the mirror timeline. But anyway,
Yeah. Well,
or universe, mirror universe. I mean, mirror universe. I'm sorry.
Don't get me started on how stupid Georgiou is. All right, so. So then we see Stamets and by the way, in typical placating Hollywood style, what do you do when you bring in a new LGBT character? You have her bond with the existing LGBT characters.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
And then
You know.
everyone goes off and be
Yeah.
fruity together. And
Yeah. So, wow, fruity.
I'm rubbing off on him. Sorry.
Yeah, I think so. And look at Michael. She's just basking in her smugness right there.
I was about to say that's the most smug look. Yeah.
She's just like, and look, you guys managed to solve it with me just being here. I'm that good.
That should be the thought bubble right above her head.
Yeah. So then and of course.
oh, wait, roll it back to that window scene. Stan Lee says, "Beam of light shining right on her face."
Yes. Well, because she's Jesus. Like
No, I know. I mean, there's a difference between good lighting and then. Where's Burnham?
I don't know. It's. But yes, I know she. And look, we got all the lighting in here, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We'll take your word for it, Stan.
See, there's more,
Yeah.
Burnham magic.
No, I know, but it's just we're missing the exact shot. I'd have to rewind the. We can rewind the tape. We can play it back later.
Oh God, do we have to?
So then, we get another heartfelt moment of Saru and Burnham Whereas Saru was like, "Hey, don't you want to go to Earth and look at the shore leave?" And she's like, "No, I like the view from up here because she likes."
No, that's not this scene. This
I
is the
know
scene
that,
where
but
he says, "I have a," he's talking about
well,
trust.
it's
And he
actually
can't
right
really trust her.
here. That, you know.
Yeah.
This is the scene you're talking about right here. Go to Earth.
Meanwhile, we have Tilly literally hug the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they just put this scene in so they can say, "See, she's not that fat."
Whoa. High calorie. She's not that high calorie.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. The tree is still huge compared to Tilly.
So
Oh man.
huge tree. Huge.
And so everybody is so happy that they're at the old tree where they all used to study for their tests. And so then they're like, "Okay, well let's have a wonderful pan out."
Oh, and then everybody posed.
Yes,
That's what's so stupid.
well, you do that, don't you?
Dun, dun, dun,
Family
dun,
gatherings,
dun, dun, dun,
y'all
dun.
get together at one place and look in the same direction off into the distance.
Yeah, we all stage promo shots every time we go everywhere.
Yeah, I
because,
do it all the time.
You know.
And so then
social media, I
Jason's
believe it.
favorite thing, the solar panels on the golden.
Oh, look, there's not enough making up for solar panels on the stupid bridge. And I will say this again, I've ranted about this before. We have fusion power and antimatter engines.
Right.
Solar panels in any era except for right now is stupid. And even right now, there's a good argument why they shouldn't be used very much. But in this universe,
Jason hates the environment, just so you all know. But you continue on.
hey, remember I'm a slumlord, right? So,
That's true.
yeah, this is so stupid.
It's stupid.
Oh, what's even worse is that it shows how little money they've had for some of the VFX shots. That some of these shots actually show up in Picard,
Right.
untouched.
And by the way, why do they have a cruise ship on the water in the 32nd century?
Oh, that's the George and Gracie tour ship, is what that is.
Oh, is that what that?
George and Gracie would have been dead 900 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah. It'd be funny if it was though. The SS George and Gracie.
So there you get a beautiful shot of San Francisco Bay.
Pretty sure you can, Kronos.
Well, and if you can't lose brain cells, I tell you what, it'll make you question your sanity.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of sanity,
Now that I've pointed this out, you can't unsee that now, can you?
no, it's terrible. Yeah, it's great.
So, for the record, preemptively, every episode is a 1 out of 10. So just roll it to 1 for my score. Don't even ask. Don't ask for the translation.
well, you don't know. You might.
No, every one of them is a 1 until I find the one after the fact that deserves the FU, and then I will retroactively FU.
Well, he let me
score.
give a 0.5 last week.
Oh, every episode's a 1. There's not a single episode of this show that's going to be better than a 1. Yeah. Actually, it's like a 1 redux because it's like inhale your vomit and re-vomit it again. Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Danny.
I mean, this isn't my FU, so this is a 1.
So I think giving it a 1 is a little bit much. Granted, I'm not.
No, this show is offensively bad.
It is, but you know, John says I got the vomit sucking at the same time you were drinking from your cup, so that was like. Yeah, that's the thing. I know that there's stuff that's worse that's coming, and I've already burnt my FU, so I can't. Give the FU to the what I know is the worst offender of the season. So,
I would suggest that we watch all of them, then go back and rank them when we're done. But I don't care about this show enough, which is why I'm saying every one of them gets a 1 out of 10, and then I will go back afterward and punch the one in the head that I really want to punch in the head.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh my
Wow,
jeez.
really? A 3?
Hey, the visual effects were still good. And
We're way past any visual effects making up for anything.
I'm not saying it makes up for the bad. If it made up for the bad storyline, it would be a 5. It doesn't. Okay, it's the visual. But you know what? I'm not going to say
I don't even know
that the artists that did put a lot of time and effort into the visual effects for this show don't deserve some credit. And just because the writers have seemed like they went out of their way to make the show as horrible as possible, it doesn't mean that everybody on production for this show did. All right, so
they kept the solar panels on the bridge. They're all fired because
I know
they're stupid.
You hate
From
solar
Saturn
panels.
to Earth in like what?
They
8
didn't have
seconds?
they had no creativity for the ships.
Saturn
They had
to Earth 20
they had no creativity for the ships. They had all the ships all gathered together. They all exploded even though they weren't moving, even though they said they should be moving when they weren't moving, and they're moving, and I don't know. There are no rules and everything is made up.
So let me address one thing at a time. So first of all, Danny, as far as them reaching Earth in 25 seconds, as horrible as that was, that is not a visual effects artist decision. That's in the writing and the direction.
Oh, wait a minute. Making the spore drive plop them in front of Saturn? That
was no. The script specifically calls for the ship to jump in, and we see Saturn in the background.
Well,
okay. And keep in mind, most of the time when these people are working on the visual effects shots, they don't know what the story is. They're just told, we want a shot of Discovery spore driving in, and then pan the camera around and we see Saturn.
and this is why Marvel movies look like garbage today.
She's got to get a dig in at the MCU. You just can't resist skinny.
No.
So anyway, I will give some credit to the visual effects work, and as far as the weird design of the ships, that again is not the VFX artist. They don't design the ships. They build the ships in accordance with the designs. That because and that's because the designs are usually yes, it's an artist that does it, but the designs are usually built out by some sketch artist or whatever, and then the creative producers decide that's the one to go with, and then the VFX people just have to do the best they can with what they're given. And so, I mean, if you look at the original drawings from Matt Jeffries of the 1701, they did look a little different than what we ended up with because the model makers had to, work within the confines of the medium they were working with.
Well, if you feel pity for the or for the special effects people, then
I think they worked their butts off, and it's unfortunate that they worked their butts off on an inferior show.
Well, I'm glad they still got
But a
paid
3
for it,
out of
but
10 is not a good review.
No, I know.
All right.
I don't even think it deserves the 3.
Yes, I know, because, but the problem is I don't live in this internet all or nothing culture. I'm trying to give it a real rating based on what we see.
Says the guy who gave it a 0 on Criticlist, but that's okay.
That was for the series. That wasn't for this episode. So next week we will be not doing Discovery, sadly.
Yay!
Jesus.
And but we're now officially done with this week's. So with that, Jason's going to be working on building a server for people that want to play Satisfactory, and Danny. So okay. So now everybody's dying to know. So tell them what happened to you this morning.
I'm not falling for this again.
What?
Every show.
They just want to know.
Every show.
I think they no people seriously want to know. I mean, no joke. Danny had a horrific experience this morning. So go ahead and tell them.
I won't tell